to E.P.I.C, another podcast from With Purpose. My name is Chris and I am the owner as well as the lead business strategist for the company. Our special guest today is John and Valerie Marsh with Miss America. How are you both doing?
We're doing well, thank you.
It is so great and a pleasure to have you guys on this. I'm really excited. As soon as I was able to book you, I could not wait for this time to spend with you. So thank you guys very, very much for being on this. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us, Chris. And you couldn't have picked a better time because in a few days it's going to be triple digits outside.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So
we're happy about that.
As well as you should. So let's get into that. Tell us a little bit about your guys' selves on a personal level.
Okay, well, I had 3 goals in life, all of which I failed at. My first life goal was to not marry somebody shorter than myself. Now, my chair, see, it's different than John's. He's in like the wheelchair. So, yeah, but I must say I'm happy that I failed at that goal.
Yeah,
married.
She's an inch taller.
Okay, he's the biggest man I know. Okay, might be shorter on the outside. But... And then my second life goal was to not do what everybody in my family had done, which was be a teacher. And I ended up being a language teacher for, oh my goodness, 36 years now. The last year is the first year I never really taught Spanish. I ended up learning about a public health issue, and I've really devoted my life, other than the business, to that in my spare time. But so anyway, I ended up being a teacher, like I swore I would never do. And then my third life goal was to never bring children into this difficult world. And not only do we have 4 amazing kids, but 7 days ago we became grandparents. And we're thrilled.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very exciting. Yeah. So you failed.
I failed, and I'm happy to have failed in all 3 ways.
And I'm happy she failed at that too. Now we've known each other since I was 12. I was born in Montreal, moved to Arizona when I was 12, and Valerie and I went to the same grade school and the same synagogue. Okay. So that's where we met. And I dated her 3 best friends in grade school.
You went steady.
Yeah, for a week, a week each or something. And
but not me.
No, not Val. And we're kind of like, if you've ever seen the movie When Harry Met Sally, that's kind of our deal. And actually when I proposed to her 17 years later, after, at 19, I came to faith in God and realized that as a believer in God, that it was clear to me, seeing that Jesus was the Messiah, and prayed for Val for almost 10 years. And then she came to that understanding, and then I figured it was time to ask her to marry me. So in a nutshell, that's the short version of it. So the proposal, because we knew we were gonna get married. I mean, it was so clear. We were friends forever. I actually I'd never seen When Harry Met Sally. So I got it. I bought a video that was a rental. And I dubbed at the end of the movie the proposal scene, because at the end of the movie, there's a proposal. And I did something almost identical to that, but with our story in it, dubbed into the end of the movie right at the beginning of the credits. And
so I'm watching this rental movie that I knew where it got rented from, and all of a sudden there's my husband, and I'm like, what? And he's got a ring in his hand, and I'm looking at the camera, and he's got a ring. And
I did that because she challenged me, and she said, "You'll never be able to surprise me." I had to come up. Exactly. It was either that or The Taming of the Shrew, but I figured Harry Met Sally would be better.
That's a great story. So how long have you guys been married now?
27 years.
Yeah.
This is our 28th year. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so we're going to get into the business side of things here, but first, real quick, so which one would you clean first? Would you clean a room, desk, or your car first?
I would say I would clean my room so that I can rest in peace
Okay.
and get up the next day refreshed.
Okay, good, good. Valerie?
That's a loaded question. You're assuming I clean. I mean, actually, I love to clean, but I just never have time. I'm always busy doing things, other wonderful things. But I'll tell you what I clean last. That's my car, because it's a minivan, but I use it like a pickup truck, a recycling unit, because I'll see stuff put out, for pickup. I've hauled poop in it. I use it like a camper. I sleep in it. So like, if I clean it, it's like the next day I'm just gonna pick up someone's firewood and haul it up to our homestead, and so I don't clean that.
Okay, all right, that's good. So which one, what is your favorite word to use?
I'd say today for me it's foundation.
Okay.
Do you want to know why?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Why?
Well, without a foundation, we have no sense of where we're going. We can go any direction, but without a foundation, we're not starting. We have no starting point, truly. And so with a good foundation, we're able to understand what's real about the world. And from there, we can understand everything else. So foundation deals with what's eternal, what we can know about God, man, good and evil. So that's the word.
Okay, good.
And that's a key word in all of our lives, ourselves, our children, what we teach. So just to understand why we're here, what we're doing, in a larger purpose. Not just for business, but all of life.
Absolutely. Very good. Valerie, you have a favorite word and why?
Well, it's not my favorite word yet, but as soon as this COVID lockdown ends and I get to go up to the homestead where my grandbaby was born, my favorite word is going to be grandma.
Aww.
Aww.
And I'm assuming we all know why. Well, you're going to have to give us the update, because I constantly hear from my parents that if they had grandchildren before children, they would have never had children. And I'm sure you're going to find out why. Okay, so let's get into the business. Miss America. Tell us a little bit about this, where it maybe originated, who started it, that type of thing.
Okay, so 33 years ago, 1986, I saw the first system that was installed in Arizona for cooling. It was at the Backstage in Scottsdale, the Scottsdale Center for the Arts upstairs. It doesn't exist anymore, but the Backstage restaurant. I walked outside and it was 20 degrees cooler. I couldn't believe it. It's just this water spray cooling this patio down. So I had businesses since high school. And I just decided that this was something I had to do. So within a month, I was in the business. And from there, the systems used to be made out of thick wall Schedule 80 PVC. The technology came from cooling chickens in hen laying houses. And anyhow, a happy chicken lays more eggs. So.
Okay. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, there you go. So 1988, we started making our own stainless steel systems and building our own systems. And then 10 years ago, we started developing a line of Mist 360 fans, these fans that hang like ceiling fans and mist 360 degrees. And we developed those specifically to expand our market from the hot, dry areas like Phoenix and Las Vegas to the rest of the world. Most of the world's hot and humid. And misting typically doesn't work very well when it's humid out, but we developed a system that works so well with a combination between our Ruby orifice nozzle that we've had for about 12 years, which produces an unbelievably fine mist, and this Mist 360 fan. And the combination of the two, we're able to cool. I mean, we just did a system a few months ago at a really nice resort in the Philippines where it's really humid. And we're getting 100% evaporation, and we're getting cooling. So, in a more humid climate, we use a smaller orifice nozzle so we don't oversaturate the air with water. and therefore still get 100% evaporation. But we're known for cooling without wetting, and that's kind of our claim to fame. And it's because of the design of the Mist 360 Mist 360 fan. And it's we just 2 weeks ago started building our newest Mist 360 fan, which is, it's basically the fan I wanted to build 10 years ago. But the fan that came out back then was bigger than and more powerful than we thought it would be. And it works at some homes, but it was mainly used commercially at all the restaurants and hotels. And now we have a fan, it's called the Mist 360 Cyclone, that works phenomenally well, replacing a ceiling fan in a home. And it's unbelievable. It's so much better than anything ever that's been in this business, in this industry, and it's affordable.
That's phenomenal, actually. So my understanding then, because you talk about getting the fan out into humid areas, is that you sell outside, not only in the state of Arizona, but also outside the state of Arizona.
Correct. Yeah, we have an office in Dubai, which we opened 6 years ago, and then Las Vegas, we do all the work for the Wynn and the Venetian, and we have a master contract for the MGM, all their hotels, and we're doing Resorts World right now. They're building that, so we're doing a whole bunch of misting there, and yeah, we're good at what we do.
Well, yeah, it's evident. Valerie, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, how I got into the business was kicking and screaming, because I was a misting widow. Like for me, Mist America was finding ruby nozzles in my dryer mint filter, you know, and like nights and nights where he's like, I'll be home for dinner. And, you know, like I didn't know dinner was at 11 p.m. So like, and I was doing my teaching and, you know, homeschooling my kids. Thankfully, I was kept busy. But not that long ago, a couple years ago, I thought, you know, if can't beat them, join them. And I jumped in full time, and oh my gosh, like all the things I hated about his business, like stop talking about, you know, the latest and greatest, you know, I want some pillow talk. But now I'm like, I'm waking him up like, oh, let's do this and let's do that. But the neatest thing though was to see him in a different light. Like I watch him doing sales, and I just fall in love with him all over again. Like he's honest and he's good. I mean, he is, I'm going to brag on him, the #1 expert in the world on misting. There's nobody with more expertise. And I just watch him, like these questions come out of left field. And John like, oh yeah, well, you know, in 1989, I did a system blah, 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 like that. And what we did. And he's just, he cares about people and people love him. And anyway, so that's been really good. Like what I used to hate, I love. So I'm really happy to be in Mist America now.
That's
so
actually, I'm sorry, what was that?
And I get to be with people. Like I'm in a business networking group called BNI. And so I love people. And so I get to sell a product I believe in and help other people build their businesses. And we're the only ones in BNI. So I get to go to all these meetings because it's category exclusive. And, you know, you can only go if there's nobody else who does what you do, and nobody does what we do. And so I'm like a proud Mist America now.
That is really cool. And the name is awesome as well, Mist America. And I've just got to assume that there's a lot of different stories or different comments that come out of that. Would I be correct?
Oh yeah.
And little tunes that people sing.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I mean, I remember the vendor we buy our stainless steel clamps from in California. When I used to do the ordering, I used to call them up, and I'd hear all the girls giggling in the background. Oh, it's Mr. America. Wow.
So John, you told us, and well, you've actually both told us how you got into it, but there's got to be something that keeps you in it. So what would be your why? What is your purpose of doing this, of bringing this to the States, to people's homes, as well as the businesses?
So like I said, I fell in love with it when I first saw it. And I can't say that for 33 years, I've loved every moment of it. I mean, there were periods of feeling a little burned out, but by God's grace, with coming up with new ideas and keeping things fresh and innovating, and we're really, I mean, we for our industry, we push the envelope. I mean, I look back at 33 years ago, and there hasn't been that much that's new in our industry. I mean, very, very little. It's embarrassing, considering that in 1986, so that's roughly when, Apple started in a garage, and, they're worth, I don't know, what's their $1.3 trillion now. And we're close, but, we're not quite that big. And, I mean, the past 10 years with the Mystery 60s, we've really changed the game, because we can cool a patio now. I mean, it's really like outdoor air conditioning. It's not, one of the problems with our industry and what people think about misting often is mist will get you wet. And there are a lot of systems out there because it's an easy business to get into, easy or whatever, low barrier of entry. You get a lot of people get in the business, they think, we're gonna do millions of dollars of business, this is so great, and they don't understand what they're doing. There's a lot involved in making a system work well. So we pride ourselves in overcoming challenges such as like misting in Dubai. You think, okay, Dubai, it's a desert, it's got to be dry. No. I've been there. I've seen dew points. Whoever understands dew points out there, I've seen a dew point as high as 90 degrees. I experienced over there. And the U.S. record for dew point is 88 through the past 100 years or whatever that they've been monitoring this. So I experienced August 4th, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember, 90-degree dew point. So it was 108 degrees with 49% humidity. The real feel was 143 degrees. My pants were in 45 minutes outside. My pants were 100% soaked, not 1 square millimeter of dryness. The tannins in my belt got so wet that the tannins came out and stained my pants.
Oh my goodness.
That's how soaked I was. It was so hot. So we're able to create a system that works even in these crazy humid environments where they still need, it's hot. I mean, in the Philippines, it's hot. The low is 80, the high is 90 every day, 365 days a year. It fluctuates a few degrees Fahrenheit. And they have a rainy season and a dry season. They don't have, but it's 80 to 90. So, they don't have a winter and a summer. They have a rainy season and a dry season. So, but their dry season, they're still humid compared to, Arizona or your typical misting environment. So just having all those challenges to overcome, that's kept me fresh. And, I love, and people love to be outdoors. Most people, like in Arizona, let's say, people move here because they can live outdoors. I mean, it's a wonderful outdoorsy state. And most people just about anywhere would prefer being outdoors than indoors if the weather's nice. Well, we're able to make the weather really nice. And that's what we do. And so we're helping people enjoy the outdoors. So if it's at a home, you may spend $500,000 for your home. Well, a chunk of that is for your land and your backyard area. And, if you're stuck inside for 5 months, I mean, that doesn't even make sense. For very little money, you can invest a little bit more in your patio and actually be comfortable outside and enjoy it. And for restaurants, which is, a large chunk of our business, at a restaurant, we're able to create a cool, comfortable patio for people that, in an area where they're not paying anything for that square footage. They're not paying every month for that square footage. That's free area for them, the outdoor patio. So if they can turn that into a moneymaker, that's phenomenal. And when people drive by and they see people packed in on patio, then they wonder, what's going on there? I mean, the food must be good or something fun's going on there. Let's try it out, right? So it's great for a restaurant and for the patrons. So it's fun. It's fun to do that.
Good. So for both of you, just in a quick few moments, what is one thing that each of you have learned about being a business owner?
It's all about people.
Okay.
That's it. One thing.
Yeah, well, so just unpack that a little bit. Why people? Is it about the relationships that you build? Is it about the people that buy from you?
Yeah, I'd say first it's the people who work with you to build this business. You can't do it by yourself.
Right.
You don't do so much by yourself. So your whole team, that's key. So getting everyone on board and getting everyone excited and going the same direction, that's a lot of fun. And helping develop their talents. And I mean, that's fun. It's like, having more kids, adopted kids, right? So
actually, I think all of our kids have worked in the business too, which has been really neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's about, the customers too. So dealing with them, understanding their needs and their desires and helping to educate them. And it's just fun working with people. That's what we do in life, right? We work with people. Right. So, yeah.
Good. Valerie, how about you?
What I've learned being a business owner, you know what, that it's really good if it's something that is really meaningful for you, being able to help people and change their lives with something, because it can define you. It becomes, when you're a business owner, it's just, it's the dinner conversation, it's the pillow talk and all that. So I just really glad that we're owners of something that's meaningful. In fact, can I tell you, about an hour ago, right before we hopped onto this interview, I got a phone call from somebody in this business group I'm in. He said, Val, I walked out this morning and my wife was out there reading to our kids and she was hot. And I said, oh, we have this new listing system. It's summer now, I can turn it on. He said, I was so excited. I went out, I walked my neighborhood and I told all my neighbors about how much we love our listing system and that they have to get one. And he said, and I think I got you like 6 jobs. So you'll be hearing from these people. He said, I just did it because I just love this. It's changed our life. And so to give that to people, is just awesome.
What an amazing testimony. I mean, someone that uses your system who is then able to share that with their neighbors. And I think that's what we all learn from about being business owners. And I think with you sharing that, it really drives home John's point about people. You can't do this alone, but you also need your customers and to find out their needs and then to provide a service and or product that allows them to experience being outside for those additional 5 months. You've nailed it on the head. And so what a perfect testimonial by this individual that called you up an hour ago. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
That's never happened at all?
I'm 33. I mean, we've installed over 15,000 systems over the years. So we have a lot of customers and no one's ever done that for us. But that's part of the whole BNI network that Val's involved with. It's crazy. It's almost like cultic the way they just really go. Well, no, in a good way. I mean, it's just like they're so dedicated to helping each other. It's all a bunch of small businesses just trying to help each other do really well. So we love it.
Well, and here's the other thing. It's about also getting the word out about the business owner, regardless of how we want to define small. And so that's what I'm doing here with you guys as well, is making sure that we can get you out there, because why shouldn't, this is the question that should be asked, why shouldn't everybody have one of your systems on their patio, right? And so if someone can answer that.
Yeah, do you have an answer? Because I haven't been able to think of that.
Well, the thing the answer is it's just that they probably haven't heard from you, right? Mm-hmm. And the idea is prioritizing their backyard, if you will. And if people really truly do want to sit outside, there are opportunities out there that can be afforded them through what you guys provide. So that's amazing. So let me ask you this: what is one thing that you wish you know now that you wish you had known when you started? Just real quick.
Mine was, I wish I had known how much this business would define us. I think I would have been better prepared and not so angry all those nights when he wasn't, coming home because he was working. But I mean, I'm glad now.
Yeah, I would say, it's something that I still don't have a full handle on because we're such a niche business, that how to really market the company well, like have a formula for like, okay, if we spend, $10,000, we'll get X number of leads. And if we spend 50,000, we'll get 5 times that. And with whatever, using this formula, it's, it may work for an air conditioning company or, a more standard business, but we're pretty much on our own developing this whole industry. There are a few other companies, not many, and very few of them advertise. And it's just, it's such a small little industry. So that's always been a really difficult thing for us. So most of our business just comes from referrals. People either see our system at a restaurant and they look at the fan and they see our name and they Google us and say, I'm in love. How did I get this for my home? Literally, we every year we get tons of those leads. And, or just, well, we're like this guy, a homeowner saying, hey, you need to get this. This is great. Or someone, going over to their house and having a barbecue and saying, wow, this thing really works well.
Right.
I mean, that's our best source of leads by far. I mean, we can spend all this money on advertising. It's hard. So yeah, I haven't learned yet on that.
But I think you have. I think you both have, because you made a point earlier, is it's about people. And it's people that help you sell the product. It's people that have helped you create it. You guys are the personality, the heartbeat, and the brain behind it. But you also need people that are going to buy from you and provide a referral source for you as well. So the common denominator is humanity for you all. And you know what? I'll tell you what, if you said you put 15,000 units sold out there, well, those are 15,000 happy customers, regardless of whether it's a home or a business. And the thing is you could probably, and it won't take 33 years to double that. There's a great opportunity here for you to double that within the next 5 years. So I would encourage you both to take your time with it, enjoy the process. And by the way, I once heard a long time ago that leadership is a lonely place. And if you guys are the leaders in the industry, you can expect it to be lonely. Because there's nobody to kind of bounce those ideas off of, except probably each other, right? And the trial and error. So I think you guys are probably in a really good spot right now because you've been able to grow. And to hear these statistics, to hear those numbers come from the both of you, and to hear some of the pain that comes through about, I wish it had been this way and this way and this way, but you're experiencing the rewards of all that hard work today. And I'm assuming, and I'm pretty good at assumptions, that the way in which your children have been raised, they have a great work ethic because they've watched you guys follow through with your commitment into making sure that this passion that you have since 1986 continues to remain constant in your guys' lives. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, no doubt. They do. They have a great work ethic, and we have 4 children, two boys, 2 girls, and they work hard. So
well, and you guys are the examples for them. So thank you for bringing that to them.
Well, I was just thinking, in addition to bouncing stuff off each other, I do have a business partner. He came in 15 or so years ago, and he's a CPA by trade, and with an entrepreneurial mind, but he's still a CPA. And it's good to have him because I get crazy ideas and want to go all these different directions, and he's like reeling me in. And thankfully, he's 15 inches taller than I am, so he can grab me pretty easily and say, "Hey, come back." So it's been great having Dave as a business partner to try and help figure this stuff out, and yeah.
Good.
And
Good.
bouncing ideas off him. Yeah.
So let's dive in a little bit deeper with your business, and just really, really quick, because we're starting to run out of some time. Why your business? What separates you from other businesses in your industry?
I'd say, well, I mean, I have to say I have passion for excellence, because, I mean, we really stand out um, with our product line. I mean, our systems cool 2 to 3 times as well as our competitors' systems with the Mist 360 fans. I mean, and they're using less water. So
How much water?
typically we use maybe a quarter to a third as much. So, 2/3 or 3/4 less water, and we're still cooling 2 to 3 times as much. And then the reason is, typical misting system is line mist, and it's around the patio perimeter, and you're completely dependent on the wind blowing that cool air, hopefully into the patio. But so sometimes they work great, and you're thinking, wow, I spent less money and I got a system that's working great. And that's, on a cool, a calm June evening, you can get 20 plus degrees cooling with a line mist system around the perimeter of a patio. But that's not your average cooling. I mean, that happens, and it'll happen several days a year. With our system hanging right above your table as a ceiling fan, you're cooling, unless it's really windy out, so windy that napkins are blowing off the table and you're not going to want to sit out there anyhow. We're able to cool and get that 15, 20 degrees cooling on average just with a mist fan. And then you can add perimeter mist, and we can average 25 degrees cooling on a patio, average.
We've measured a lot more than that.
Yeah,
too.
we've seen up to 38 degrees cooling.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's plus the additional cooling you're getting from the little bit of breeze you get off the fan. So that helps cool even more. So yeah, we just have a product that's and it doesn't get wet. We don't get anything wet. So our nozzle is much finer. We even make our own reverse osmosis systems. So we can remove all the calcium in the water, especially for commercial systems that are running systems 8-10 hours a day. We just have a really good system. I mean, it took 33 years for me to figure it out, but I'm a little slow, but we've got it. So.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What's the best compliment that you guys have ever received?
Well, the best compliment that I've ever received was 5 simple words. And I heard them about 2 hours ago because I listened to a podcast that you did with Red Legend Media. Mm-hmm. And my son and my pseudo son are the business partners in that. And those 5 words that I heard you say to them was, thank your parents for us. You acknowledge just that privilege that we have of passing on hopefully what's good to the next generation. And that actually almost brought me to tears. So thank you.
Yeah.
I meant it. You can't go wrong with the truth, right?
So I'd say along those same lines, actually hearing it from all 4 of my kids as they've thanked me for pushing them. Yeah. And, when they didn't want to be pushed and getting them to do things that they didn't think they could do. And most recently, I actually, my daughter actually came to me, my youngest, and said, we were going to do a hike. It's this hike called Cactus to Clouds. It's the biggest vertical hike in the US. That's on a trail anyhow. And it's in Palm Springs. So it's like from 400 feet to 10,800 feet, 2 miles vertical. It's a big hike. So I said, okay, Aaliyah, yeah, you can do this with us, but you've got to train and you've got to be able to go up and down Squaw Peak, which is our local mountain. It's 1,200 foot climb, I think. You've got to do Squaw Peak 4 times in a row at a good pace, and I'll determine what a good pace is. And what I was thinking is, if she did it, even at a good pace, and she collapsed at the end, she wasn't going the next week. I wasn't going to let her go because this thing, other people were going, and I mean, I didn't want to have to rescue her.
Right.
And she trained with me for a month. She did this all in a month. She trained so hard, and she did it. We actually did a week before, we did Squaw Peak 5 times in a row, and she was feeling good after it. And then the next week we went and did Cactus to Clouds, and she did it in an average time, but what's considered average, I guess, what I read on the internet. And it was phenomenal. It's just, experiences like that. We do a lot of hiking with our kids, so with all of them. So that was just being able to do that with your kid and pushing them and seeing them achieve goals and do things that they didn't think they could do. That's really fun. So
yeah, I would just say to you, again, that falls under accountability, the perseverance, teaching them that. And that's where, that's really right now where you guys are coming into play with them. And that's why they're thanking you. So again, I'll say it to you guys, thank you for what your efforts, your accountability to them and to one another, as well as your perseverance as a family unit, moving you all forward. So my hat's off to you guys. So as we wrap this up, what couple of things do you want our listeners to know? Do you have a special going on? How can they find you on social media, on the interweb? What would you tell them?
Well, yeah, mistamerica.com, mistamerica.com. That's our website, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we're ramping up all that because we're actually just starting. We're going to be on TV soon with introducing this the fan I mentioned earlier, the Cyclone, Mystery 60 Cyclones. We have do-it-yourself kits, retail for $24.95. I know we'll be having some specials on those, and it's a phenomenal system. So yeah. Oh, and our phone number, toll free, is 1-888-MISTING, MISTING. So that's easy to remember.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Very
888, no, not 800. 888-MISTING.
888. Okay. And Valerie, did you want to add anything to that?
I just, one of the things I want people to know, I'm a health nut. I was very, very sick as a child and sort of reclaimed my health. And I guess there's two things I would want people to think about. One is, I think people have this paradigm, especially living in hot places like Arizona, that when it's summer, you just don't go outside. And I think mentally breaking through that, so not only do you go outside, but this is going to be a part of your home now that is outdoors. It expands your living space and you're going to enjoy it. I think that's a really important thing. And the other one is, as a health nut, I've learned a lot about the importance of sunlight for our health, everything from affecting our sleep to our mood, to our body's ability to fight cancer. And so the more that we can get people outside, especially with COVID and needing to build people's immune systems, I'm really happy and encouraging of people to think outside the box, think, you know what, I can live outside and be super comfortable, and it's good for me and it makes me happy and healthy.
Well, and I will add to that, if I may, and that is this: if they've got your misting system outside of the back patio, they can go get that sunlight and move just a couple of inches and or feet under their patio and be anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees cooler, right?
Yep.
Well, very good. Hey, you guys, it's been a pleasure to have you today. I thank you so much, not only for what you do as a couple in business together, but sharing your experience, your wisdom through various networking opportunities, through this podcast, to your community, but also, oh my goodness, to the world. So thank you guys for what you bring. And I'll tell you this, John and Valerie, I'm going to hold you guys accountable. I'm looking forward to the next new system that you're going to have, because I know it's not going to take you 33 years to figure it all out. So thank you guys very much for being on this. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Chris.
Chris.
It's great.
Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for listening to another epic podcast from With Purpose. My name is Chris, and always live and work with purpose. Have a great day.